So last week, a gender activist decided to challenge Charlie Kirk during a Q&A, and Charlie Kirk literally left him speechless. You guys, if you haven't seen this exchange already, you're gonna want to stick around. But before we jump into that, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope everyone had a fantastic Halloween. Hope it was very spooky. If you guys could please hit that like button for the algorithm, I would greatly appreciate it. And then lastly, this video is sponsored by my good friends over at Deal Dash. We'll talk about them a little bit more in a bit. So you guys, as always, link to the full video will be down in the description below. This exchange is a little bit longer than the ones I usually cover, so I'm going to let these clips roll a little bit longer than normal. But let's just go ahead and jump on in.
So my question is about what you said earlier about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's qualifications for the Supreme Court, and how you mentioned that she was unable to define what a woman is, and I'd like to compare that to Justice Barrett. So Justice Jackson went to a public high school, attended an Ivy League law school, clerked for the Supreme Court, was a public defender, served on the Sentencing Commission, was a district judge, and served on the Court of Appeals. And as for Justice Barrett, she was a Supreme Court clerk, and she also sat in the Court of Appeals. And when
She's done more than
she
that.
was being questioned by the Senate during her confirmation, she was asked to name the freedoms of the First Amendment, which she struggled with. So my question is, what makes Justice Justice Barrett more qualified than Justice Brown?
Before Charlie responds to this, quick thing about this question. I actually don't mind this question that much. I really don't mind it that much. It's not that bad of a question. The conversation kind of gets a little bit more derailed as he starts to dig his heels in. But I will point out one thing. He's comparing apples to oranges here. We're talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson refusing to say what a woman is. Whereas he brings up Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearing, which, by the way, is funny that he's criticizing it because it was incredibly impressive with the, you guys remember the whole no notes on her notepad, but she hesitated during a question about explaining what the First Amendment gives us. Maybe not the best look, but not the worst thing, because she knows what the First Amendment is. It wasn't a refusal to tell what the First Amendment is. It wasn't no, well, it's up for debate, really. I mean, it doesn't really matter. No, I'm not going to tell you. It wasn't that. So you have, on one hand, Ketanji Brown Jackson refusing to answer a question, and on the other, Amy Coney Barrett maybe just looking bad, hesitating to answer it, but she still knows what the First Amendment is. Let's move on.
By the way, how is Ketanji Brown Jackson's Ivy League credentials impressive if she got in with affirmative action? Why is that impressive? And by the way, Amy Coney Barrett did her entire hearing without a shred of notes in front of her. You remember that? She had nothing but a notepad, all from memory. Ketanji Brown Jackson, I will just ask you, do you think it's important that one of the 9 people determining the most important interpretation of our laws knows what a woman is?
Of course. Of course it's important. We've literally brought in an activist into the Supreme Court. There are countless laws that you need to know what a woman is in order to properly interpret those laws. Of course it's important. Let's hear his response.
Right.
I just feel bad for him right here. Really quickly, the shirt, for anybody that's confused, Trump 20 to 24 years in prison, it says. He's not a Trump supporter.
Well, my counter to that is that we shouldn't really be seeing the world in black and white. And a woman it's more than what meets the eye for a definition.
No, it's not. No, we should see the world through male and female. Yeah.
Why?
Definitely.
All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor, Deal Dash. Now, I know many of you are already bidding on Deal Dash, but for those of you who don't know, Deal Dash is an auction website that many people either seem to love or hate. If you've seen their ads on TV at any point in the last 15 years, you'll know that they have thousands of auctions every day with brand new items. Right here, we have a handful of items that are up for auction today. Apple Watch, we have a PlayStation 5. I want to show you guys a couple that have already sold. So we have a PS5 console plus headphones sold for $10 $1.39 before. That is ridiculous. So you're probably wondering, okay, so what's the catch? Because this obviously seems absurd. Well, you have to pay for the right to bid. I'll explain. Right here, they'll ask you to buy 275 ads for $30, which means you can bid 275 times in any of their auctions. Now, every auction starts at $0 with no minimum reserve price, and every time you bid, you can at most raise the price by a penny. After you bid, the auction timer counts down by 10 seconds, and if nobody bids in the next 10 seconds, you win the auction. So Deal Dash hooked me up with a handful of bids. Let's go ahead and find some items to bid on. So right here we have some luxury bed sheets. I'm sure just about every single person watching this could use that. Let's go ahead and bid. Zombie is up at the top. That's me right there. We are the highest bidder. Right here, Bluetooth speaker. Definitely got a bid on this. And top bid right there, Zombie. So you guys check out DealDash.com, and when you sign up, use my promo code Klug100 and you'll get 100 extra free bids on your first bid pack purchase. And if you don't win an auction using these bids, or you just don't like it for any reason, contact DealDash and they'll give you your money back, no questions asked, on your first bid pack purchase. So the downside is really limited. You guys, it's worth a try. Do me a favor and check out DealDash.com/Klug100 and take advantage of this deal. You guys, I will put a link down in the description below. Let's get back into this video.
Why? Because I live in reality, not in Narnia or some sort of weird created academic abstract space that doesn't exist.
The perfect response right there. Just shut it down. Just shut it down. There's no reason. That's all you have to say. Because I'm choosing to live in reality. You have your ideology that you ascribe to, and that is okay. You're allowed to have some destructive ideology. However, I'm picking reality here. You can do what you want. I'm going to stick with reality.
So, why shouldn't a person be socially welcome to identify with gender outside of the binary?
Well, anyone can pretend to be something they're not, but that doesn't make them the thing that they're not. Can I be black?
No.
Oh, but why can't I socially become black? Blackface, right? I can pretend, wear camouflage, masquerade as something that I'm not, right? How's that different than a trans person?
Race and gender are two completely separate things. They have nothing to do with each other, and the existence of being transgender does not imply the existence of being transracial.
So you can pretend to say that you have ovaries when you don't, but you can't put makeup on to pretend to be a black person.
I don't know. This kid's sounding a bit bigoted. I don't know. It's so funny seeing this response from these woke gender activists because, oh, well, you can't identify a different skin. You can't do that. What are you talking about? I mean, it sounds like just an average person 10 years ago talking about gender. That's what they sound like. And the only difference is there's no massive pressure from a left-wing campaign to push that ideology saying, yes, you can identify that way. The funniest part about that, they reject that race is a social construct and it's on a spectrum and all this stuff, but they say it about gender. They say it about your sex. You can say that you're a man and you menstruate, and that's totally fine. When the reality is, no, that's not how things work. There's male and female. But when it comes to race, it actually is kind of on a spectrum. When it comes to, you can be a mix of 10 different things. You can be Asian, black, you could be white, you can have parts of Hungarian in you, I don't know, just anything, right? You can be a very diverse individual, and your race is actually on a spectrum. But one other thing as well, race is also, there is a social construct aspect to this. When it comes to people being white or black, nobody is actually white. Nobody is actually black. And when it comes to how people identify, let's say Barack Obama, half black. We call him black. Well, he's not fully black, so why do we call him black? That's a social construct aspect of race, which is super interesting because they reject that for race, but they adopt it for gender, which is completely made up. When someone is half black and you just say that they're black, that is a social construct. So unfortunately for this kid, he continues to dig his heels in. It started off with a decent question. Now we're getting into make-believe gender ideology, and he's doubling down.
What transgender women are claimed to have ovaries?
There's lots of men that pretend to have ovaries. In fact, the CDC guidance says right now that men can chest feed. Do you think men can chest feed?
That's not the sole criterion for being...
So let me ask you a question. What is a woman?
A woman is someone who identifies as one.
Answer the question without saying the word woman. You can't say the word woman. That's called circular reasoning. It's like saying a tree is something that looks like a tree. So I'll ask again, what is a woman?
This is hard to watch.
Woman is a person who lives a lifestyle aligned with feminine characteristics, not necessarily your chromosomes or your genitals.
So someone who just wears a dress. So what you are doing is you are reducing womanhood to a costume.
Stereotypes. That's what these people jump to. They jump to stereotypes. So if you're a more masculine woman, you're not falling into that category of that kid's definition. You're not falling into his definition, right? Because they just jump to stereotypes. Hey, it's a costume that I put on, and that's what makes you a woman. Some people even say surgical procedures. Some people just say you don't need to dress anyway. You don't need to look anyway. It's just a matter of what you say. Say, hey, today I am a woman, and you don't appear to be a woman or any of that stuff. Maybe you have blue hair or whatever it may be. That's all you need. But it's so funny watching these responses because he just jumped to stereotypes. For the longest time, society kind of said, well, there's no perfect way to be a man or a woman. They have, general characteristics that they tend to have. Women tend to be more feminine. Men tend to be more masculine. But there's no perfect way to be a man or a woman. And then right here, it's, well, hey, you have to fall under this category or else you're not. Stereotypes. Every single time they jump to stereotypes.
So, are you suggesting that, a transgender woman goes about her day pretending to be a woman, but then when she gets home, she starts acting like a man?
No, delusional in every part of life. I understand that. But that doesn't mean they're not delusional. There's a series of mental conditions where you could pretend to be a wolf. Can you be trans-species too? Does your own mental condition dictate external reality, yes or no?
Not necessarily.
Unbelievable question. In fact, I'm going to steal that one for my street videos. Does your own mental condition dictate external reality? Take note of that question, you guys. It's a fantastic question to be asking people because I really hope that people that are experiencing gender dysphoria, I hope that they're getting help. I wish them the best. I really, really do. However, it is insane to suggest that the rest of us have to reject reality to make that person feel comfortable that's having some sort of mental issue going on. And again, I wish them the best of luck. I really do.
Okay, then why do you believe that a biological man can become something that he is not? Because he thinks it.
Because gender is not interchangeable with sex.
Yeah, right. So there are 0 genders. There are only 2 sexes. Gender is a made-up term that started in the academy in the 1960s. Talking about sex, which is the only thing that actually can be proven and that matters, X, 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 Y, I will ask the question again, why is it that a man can suddenly become a dress and can be treated exactly the same as a woman that is biologically, not just biologically different, but somebody has a different brain, a different hormonal system, menstruate, have children? I'll be very honest with you. It is so unbelievably insulting to women to have men have to lecture that all it takes is some weird dude with testosterone can put makeup on, wear a thong and a dress, and he suddenly becomes a woman.
For the, 15% of women watching this channel, I'm curious to hear what you think. Do you find it to be offensive that a lot of these trans activists or gender theory activists just say that that's all you need to do to claim womanhood? Is that offensive to you or no? I know a lot of women are split on this, and I know a lot of women are the ones that are spearheading these movements because, they're compassionate. They want to be inclusive. They want all that. A lot of these ideologies feed on that female instinct of just wanting to be caring. So to wrap things up, Charlie gives this amazing closing statement that I want you guys to check out. It is the way that he words this is just genius level, and he probably teaches this student more in this, roughly 5 minutes than his entire time at college. Let's let it play.
I don't deny for a second that the trans person thinks that they are. Certain people think that they're younger than they are. Some people think they're taller than they are. Some people think they're richer than they are. Some people think they're innocent when they're not, like Bob Menendez. There's plenty of delusional people in this world. It's up for society to say no to the delusional and yes to reality. It is for us to not allow us to be reined under the tyranny of somebody's imagination. Do you have a response? And then we'll wrap it up.
Oof. He's a nice kid. You know, you can tell.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next question. And give it up for him. That's not easy to do at a conservative event. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
I wanted to include that last part just because I thought that was really sweet of what Charlie did right there. I mean, he's right. And we're not watching this video saying, okay, well, this kid, he has a gotcha, or he's being even rude to Charlie. No. You could tell, if you guys are watching closely, you can tell he's shaking. A lot of these students, these left-wing students that go up and do this, they try to make it their big moment to stick it to the man, right? Even though they're basically a mouthpiece for the machine without knowing that. But this kid, he genuinely wanted to go up there with, I think he thought that was a pretty honest question. I know I said it was comparing apples to oranges, but that was just my take on it. He thought it was an honest question. They start digging into what is a woman, and he is just left speechless right there. Charlie put that bow on his argument right there at the very end. That's pretty tough to argue with. But you got to give it up to that kid, and I'm so glad that Charlie did that because I really, really respect that. You know, it does take a lot of guts, especially being younger, especially going up against Charlie Kirk. He's a very smart guy. I've met him a handful of times in person. He's a very intelligent guy. But, you know, it takes guts to do that. And so him acknowledging that and making sure that the audience is clapping, that was really cool. One important takeaway from this is don't be bullied by what these leftist activists are saying that you should believe. You do not need to adopt their ideology. It is just fine to live in reality. I really think this is some of Charlie's best work. One, because it's incredibly educational. You can watch this, see the arguments taking place, and his responses are pretty close to genius level. Some of them are a bit harsh. I tend to be a little bit more delicate with how I respond to people, but this is just perfectly done. The entire exchange is perfectly done. His responses, his quick, hard-punching, hard-hitting responses, A+ on this exchange. You guys, let me know what you thought about this exchange down in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you thought about my commentary. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next to my post. And I will catch you all in the next video.